How do I make this full screen?
Here comes Zach and that.
You mean like a
Turtle.
You're live. Whatever you say now.
Yeah.
Streaming live.
Here comes Zach and Black.
Everybody switch it that way.
He's in
I'm on the couch.
Turtle there.
Wow, we already have 63 people.
Look at all that headroom.
Wow.
Well, because
It's because we can put our arms up.
I thought it's taking a lot of space.
Cool.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Our moderator today is going to be Casamobi. Hey! And Casamobi, what are we talking?
Oh, no.
Wow.
Did we just spill the tea? Did we spill the tea before
Literally
questions
did.
were asked?
Spilled the tea.
Casamobi, why don't you sit down here so they can see you the whole time?
That's not when I thought tea.
Well, I was putting it down for a moment.
I think I'm trying to
Life
split.
comes at you fast.
I'm gonna grab
65 people. But
Don't
only
mind
7 likes. I'm curious.
You know, every day is a struggle.
If you're one of those 7 people,
Don't mind me.
I mean,
Don't mind me. Just cleaning the floor.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to be slightly cut off. That's fine. So one of the first questions we have, guys, is are there going to be any kind of book tours, podcast tours, live events for stuff that you have coming out right now?
maybe, but it's a secret. As a movie.
We're working on it. We're working on the idea of doing something around the time of our book. Will it be an explicit book tour? It's really, we can't say yet. We're working on it. We would love to do, I mean, if you've seen some of our live performances in the past, you know we have a passion for it. It's something that's totally different, like a different muscle that we get to flex that we have a lot of fun doing. So
If you look at our calendars, like 2 hours out of every day is just blocked off, like figure out tour. So we will have an official announcement soon, but for now it's a secret. So you guys got to keep the secret.
keep the secret.
Do they normally chat on the side?
Keith the Psycho. Yeah, they do.
Maybe they're watching it on Patreon.com.
Oh.
That's right. The count.
press
Shit.
that arrow.
We have
Let's see,
83
is it
people
posted?
here.
Live chat.
Let's see. That's crazy.
Hello. Wow. Like we're being such a chat.
Ooh, much chat.
Much people.
Oh.
Still
Oh.
doing it.
We're a little too far to see the chat.
Yeah, I'm pulling up.
I just see someone says hi, dads.
Hi, kids.
Say hi to kids.
Hi.
I'm loving it now. Another fun question we have is, besides the Triceratops, what dinosaur, or let's just say what other animal in general, would you identify yourself as?
Ooh.
You know, when we first were thinking of Triceratops, we also were like, should we Tyrannosaurus? Should we be? We went through a lot of other dinosaurs. We also, sometimes people think our logo is a Trinoceros.
What's a
That's-
rhinoceros?
I like that.
Like a rhinoceros.
That
Oh,
tries real hard.
But a Trinoceros doesn't have horns. It only has the nose horn. It's more of a unicorn, if anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe
Right.
unicorns are real and they're just rhinos.
I think
Wow.
they are single
Can
horned.
you imagine a rhino that's like, I'm gonna fly?
I'm the symbol of purity of life.
Yes. But unicorns fly through magic.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Pegasus fly.
That's a Pegasus.
No, I know. But
No unicorn has ever flown.
No, unicorn. They like ride over rainbows and stuff.
Yeah, I think they shoot rainbows out of their butts and that's where their rocket fuel.
Unless it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Pegasus unicorn mix, which is an alicorn.
Is that what it is?
Is that a real thing,
Alicorn?
James?
Yeah, I've seen My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic.
Wow.
I know the terms.
I love that this side of the couch, though, we were very like, that's not what a unicorn is. How
Not
dare
at
you?
My mythology all comes from Clash of the Titans and
Great film.
things like that. Your mythology comes from
My
what was
Little
it?
Pony.
My Little Pony.
Well, I know about mythology too. I just want to speak in the kids' terms.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
unicorn is
Gonna
a
read
recent
some of the
mythology.
comments.
Only Pegasus.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm just reading the
He's reading.
comments. Well,
Oh, this is kind of an interesting question. Who first came up with the idea to start a company and go independent? Like, who is that radical? Also, someone says that you're giving them Steve Jobs vibes. right
This
now.
is the Steve Jobs sweater from our photo shoot, and I kept it. There's not a real answer of whose idea it was, and I'm sure we would all be able to take credit for it in one way or the other, right?
I don't want to take credit for it.
I think it was. I think it was always. How do we say it? Understood and discussed in the cards pre-departure.
It wasn't an idea so much as it was one of several ideas that we thought was the best.
In fact, it was maybe just like an inevitable.
Yeah.
We're all just like, I think this is gonna happen. So
there was one explicit time and conversation where we all gathered to kind of look at our options, and that was the day that we really looked at what could this be if we were to go forward with it.
It was at your apartment, right?
Oh, I'm actually thinking of the one.
Maybe there were 2 days.
And well, we'll talk about it later.
It's a Superman multiple origins kind of situation.
Yeah,
So it's all about the canon you follow.
It was a organic evolution.
Yeah, we were all like, wait, you're thinking about leaving completely. I'm thinking about leaving completely. Well, if we all left completely, we could do a thing together.
Yeah.
And
What
we
would that
knew,
thing be?
we knew we wanted to move on to something else, but we were also trying to figure out, like, we cared. We loved making the Try Guys. We loved making videos together. We loved this community that we had built, and so we wanted to move on to a new challenge, but we didn't want to abandon what had come before. So, I mean, in the beginning, we didn't know that we were going to be able to keep this Try Guys name. So that was like a far-fetched dream in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back to emotionally, where was I a year ago?
I just remember putting a lot of spreadsheets together that like projected like, this is how much I think it's gonna cost, and this is how much money I think we can all make, and I think it's a thing. Like, I think we can do this.
Yeah.
But we couldn't have done it without you guys.
No, yeah.
Our Patreon.
Yeah, absolutely.
You keep us afloat, and you are really, really important to us running this company.
Yeah, I mean, one definite moment I can say is in the beginning, we were like, okay, so we all have to empty our savings, I guess, and how's this gonna work? And Keith definitely came forward and was like, well, there's this thing called Patreon. Have we thought about that? Have we heard about that? And that was like such a necessary stepping stone for us to realize that we could take this leap. So without that, it wouldn't have worked.
the answer is you.
Yeah.
Came up with it. You came up with the idea. Don't you remember?
One question we have is what was the hardest part beyond fried chicken about going vegan? And just like you've had like a real lifestyle change. Like Keith has been.
Well, you'll just have to
been a healthy
read
judge.
about it in the book specifically. I think the hardest part about lifestyle changes in general is changing your schedules. I always said that, like, one of the things I've come to realize, I'll let you know this, is just that it's easier to get rid of a bad habit than it is to add a good habit. That was probably the hardest part of everything that I've been doing, both for the book and for myself, is that it's just really hard to add new positive lifestyle habits.
You gotta rewire your brain.
And you have to do it every day. It can't be like a diet for a month is one thing, but to change your diet is a forever thing.
And didn't you read somewhere that it takes 30 days to form a new habit? Is that the stat?
It's like 6 weeks, I think. It's something
Whoa.
crazy.
Yeah.
It takes like regular of that to make a new habit. So
I'm committed.
I made a lot of new habits.
I think we did write 30 days in the book. So
Did we? Should.
a lot to make sure that we didn't say different things.
I don't actually.
We're getting the final manuscript mailed to us, I guess. And
Yeah.
this is how crazy books are. I just found this out this morning that they're gonna send us a printed out copy of the book, and I guess we need to literally go in with a pen for the final draft, which is totally bonkers to me. Why
and
is
send
that?
it back in the mail.
In the mail. What year is it?
That is a
crazy.
book.
Were you guys shocked by that email
I was
this morning?
shocked. I was like, you want me to write with a pen?
They're like, you have one copy, so you're all gonna have to share the copy. That's cuckoo pants insane.
And I think it has to be a red pen.
Yeah, probably.
It can't be a black pen.
We're gonna feel like little teachers, little professors.
Mhm.
Wait, do we even own a red pen? Oh, I see.
We got exactly one.
For some reason, we bought a whole box of them. And at one point, my desk was filled with red pens. I was like,
Can't sign anything.
So do you guys prefer blue pen or black pen?
black pen, black pen, yeah.
That's weird. I like the pens a lot.
Blue or
Mm.
it's
I find
fun.
black. You know, life is short. Right with the blue pen. Right with the purple
Blue is fun.
Purple pen.
Purple
yeah.
pen.
I find that pens are only for serious matters, so I just want to be serious when I'm having a pen.
It does feel like a check in blue ink isn't quite as real.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Let's see. Let's see.
You do that.
Someone named Miles Bonsignore said, "What if we got massage chairs for the office asking for a friend?"
Miles. Thanks for joining our Patreon, Miles.
Yeah.
Miles, get off the chat. Okay.
Not a bad idea.
That was the employee who pays to work here.
Yes, no, there's also a bunch of good ones in the.
Yeah, I'm pulling on the Slack
On
or the
Discord.
Discord. Ooh.
The Slack, actually.
I was gonna say you got a Slack with the
Maybe,
patrons.
Keith, what are your favorite Magic the Gathering colors to play? I don't know what that means.
Oh, growing up, I loved green because green has the biggest monsters, but it's such a slow deck to play. And I think now I like white and red because they're pretty quick, a lot of flight, a lot of immediate damage.
Yeah.
They're just fast. Well, red is fast and white prolongs the game.
Right, so it's a real warrior deck.
Yeah.
You would think that I would like red because it rhymes with my name, but I actually like blue the best because it's like you have to be very
Mystical,
strategic.
yeah.
You can really trick people easily. I like playing like kind of like sneaky, tricky, but I do tend to play more aggro than control, so that's kind of at odds with liking blue. You know, I think I get a
So
little
we're
too bored.
losing half the viewership.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
If you drafted the new set, you know those guilds are pretty fun. I don't know all the names, but drafted a Simic deck last night, and that was pretty dope.
It's like, honestly, you could be speaking Farsi to me right now. Like, it's just all going. I do want.
Magic the
I do-
Gathering, all unicorns can fly.
I drew a Planeswalker from a pack last night, and it was huge.
Super rare.
Big deal.
I see a question from Jarek Femboy. It's like Jarek with a line. So I believe Femboy is your alter superhero ego. But you guys made a Twitch channel for your PUBG Live event. Can we expect that to come back? And if so, when? Would love to watch you guys stream. It'd be such a very entertaining and funny.
Yeah.
Why don't you take that one?
Well, I don't know that. I actually was asking because I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah, it's something we want to do, but it's one of those things that there's only so much time in each week.
What games should we play?
Yeah, what games should you want to watch us play? Right now, we're playing Smash Brothers.
That's like what we just
in general.
We could also go into a whole discussion about that.
Yeah.
Well, then there's also a world where you do a Twitch channel and don't do video games, right? Twitch is right now, it's a live streaming platform. Video games are the thing that do the best there, and I'm interested in that because the idea of playing video games for a little bit every week and making that part of my job is very appealing. But I think there's a lot of potential there beyond that.
Mhm.
There's another question that was, who is the best at Super Smash Brothers? And I'm very disappointed to say
Probably
the answer
Ned.
is Ned. And I don't understand it.
Well, you know, when you have played Super Smash Brothers as long as I have and sunk in many, many hours of your life and wasted your college education by playing a lot of Super Smash Brothers.
I've been doing something different. I noticed Ned is a big online player, so he's just he plays Snake and he's amazing with Snake, and it's infuriating. As I've been playing through the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to just get good with every character. So I'm trying to get to level 9 with everyone.
Objectively a horrible strategy.
Oh, it's fun because it's the classic mode. You
It's
get to
very
play
fun.
very
fun.
have more fun with it.
I like to
Yeah,
play the
yeah,
dumbest
it's fun.
characters available.
Is beating your friends.
I like play King DDD.
Yeah.
There's a question for Eugene, which was, are you watching Drag Race right now? Do you have any strong opinions? Who are you rooting for?
Did something controversial
All
happen on
Stars?
Like a
Oh,
double
yes.
crown or something.
Do
Yeah.
people in our Try Guys
Absolutely.
audience watch Drag Race? I'm
Absolutely.
just curious to see if people watch
Yeah.
Drag Race.
Do you guys watch Drag Race? I've seen you talking about it before.
Okay, cool. I've actually watched since season 1, episode 1. Like I've been in the Drag Race game since the beginning. Yeah, because I mean, you know, I've watched drag queens since I was 18 years old in the clubs. I don't want to talk about All Stars. Lots of controversy there, but
What's the controversy?
it's hard to explain. Basically, they double crowned. They have the crown at the end, and then they edit it together. But they crown everyone as if they won, and then the contestants learn as they're watching live who won.
Oh.
And this one, it's an editing nightmare. They stitch the two people get winning at the same time, jump cutting between their individual crownings with the same people standing around them. It's super fucking bizarre. Anyway, they asked what my season 11 choices were. Is that what the question was?
Yeah. So they're asking about season 11 of the normal show, and then
Yes.
they're asking about AS4, which you don't want to talk about.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I've been watching all
support all queens, love all queens. All the queens are great. It's the editing in the show that sometimes gets people up in a bunch. But season 11, I would say my tops are: I love Silky Ganache. I'm so ready for Silky Nutmeg Ganache. I feel like she might be one of the first real plus size queens to take the crown. I'm rooting for her. I also love Plastique Tiara. She's a Vietnamese queen, but she looks like a K-pop queen, so I'm super down with that. And I know a few of the queens in season 11. I met Sugarcane from New York. She's really fucking cool. So Sugarcane, I'm rooting for as well. And I love what's her name? Evie Destruction, the one from Denver.
Yes.
Evie Destruction. I think she looks pretty dope. So
That reminds me of another question
Yeah.
we had for you guys.
yeah, but I will be watching every single season, and hopefully one day I can guest judge.
Must be what they feel like when we talk about magic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw your face do the exact same kind of glaze over.
I finished my teeth.
When I talk about drag, yeah.
Yeah. Also, someone asked, "What's your favorite Eevee evolution?"
Oh, Umbreon for sure.
Why?
Why?
Because
Yeah, you
he's
gotta
dark.
elaborate.
I like to play as Jolteon and Vaporeon. Like I always had one of the two in my party on the Game Boy Pokemon games, but
All the three
I
original,
never was a Flareon boy.
the three original evolutions all slightly weird me out in one way. Like the tail on Vaporeon totally
cool.
trips me
So
out.
sexy, yeah.
Oh,
So
I
sexy,
hate
yeah.
the tail.
I
I
was
just love normal Eevee.
I like Sylveon because she's a fairy.
That I will say, I go with the red and do like Flareon. For sure.
Ooh. Someone asked, Zach, as another chronically ill person, I want to know how you keep up with everything we do, especially lately. We've been shooting nonstop. There's going to be so many videos coming out. A lot of them are really physical. One was very physical. You guys are going to freak out. I love it.
Oh, I think I know.
We
Yeah.
broke through some of our own boundaries.
How do I do it? I mean, it's very difficult. In general, this actually does share with some things that Keith has gone through with just health change in general. Like lifestyle change is totally hard, even when you know that something is best for you. So lately, I've been really focused on, commitment to exercise, but really beyond that, diet. So I think I mentioned in the Discord that I cut out alcohol. I'm trying to cut out gluten, but it's very difficult. I'm trying to cut out soy, but I have not actually made it. It's like all of these things that you're supposed to do, but to do it all at once is totally beyond overwhelming. So I would say that to anyone who's like me in any facet of life is try and find very specific things that you can chip away at one at a time, because to make just a big giant leap all at once is really hard. Beyond that, for our videos, I've found that I'm struggling to accept my limitations sometimes. So even like the dumpling video is probably something that I should not have done, and I made a big deal about not doing it. Just from a diet perspective, I know that much gluten and that much red meat is like totally difficult for me to digest.
Pork is white meat.
It's delightful
Is
from
pork-
a story
is pork white
perspective.
meat?
Totally.
Am I
I
wrong?
mean,
white meat.
having you not be competitive but just be fun and along for the ride was a very great contrast.
But then at the end, I then still ate
Yeah,
40,
sure.
whatever,
Yeah,
30 something.
Yeah,
dollars.
we needed your help.
Needed it.
We needed
So like, if we did roller derby again, I would probably have to think twice about whether or not I should do it, right? Stuff like that, where I think as we go forward, I'm gonna have to be a little more realistic with myself. Because, there was one thing in that video actually that we're talking about that we did physical. The physical things that we did in that video were no problem. But there was this one moment where I did this thing as a joke to make a kid laugh, and I totally fell down stupidly, and I whiplashed my neck, and it hurt for days.
Oh, you hurt yourself when you did that?
Yeah, that's the moment, not fighting.
I watched it do it. I was like, that's gonna hurt.
I thought that the floor was really soft, and it wasn't, and I totally smacked my head. So it was a stupid moment, but that's a long-winded way to say is that I'm working on it.
Related to that kind of managing it all, Ned, how's fatherhood going?
Oh, it's going great,
Date.
guys. I
Super
mean,
easy.
No, actually, it is. Like, Wes is like getting pretty old. You know, he's almost a year old, and when he hit 6 months,
Self-sufficient at that point.
yeah, basically. No, once he started sleeping through the night, things got a whole lot better. It's like he started sleeping through the night, and he started smiling more around the same time, and then it went from like, oh, my life is so difficult, I don't know what I'm doing, being a father so hard, to like, this baby's so cute, he's a tiny little person. We're getting passport photos. We are getting
Oh my
Wes.
gosh.
Is Wes
little
getting a
tiny
passport?
passport? Yes, let me show you Wesley's passport photos.
Oh, so
I saw one where Wes was just laying on the floor. I'm like, oh, I hope it's that one.
Yeah.
He's just being cute.
I can't find the passport photos, but you can see this photo.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
see that.
perfect.
there's
Yeah.
absolutely no way to get
I took this morning. He was wearing tights. He looked like a little ballet dancer.
Oh, the expression, I don't know if you guys saw the expression on his face is the best part.
Yeah,
he
he's
just
like,
looks so.
he eats food. He can grab it with his hands and eat. He started crawling.
I don't know
That's huge.
I don't know if you know this, but in the world of babies, you have an exceptionally good and easy baby.
Which seems pretty chill.
Like my girlfriend Maggie works with infants all the time, and she's like, they have no idea how good they have it. Like Wes, compared to the way that babies can be Wes is a little angel, and really is not very fussy.
Here's his passport photos.
That looks like he could also be
He's
an
a
assassin.
little gentleman traveler. You can just see in
Yes,
like a
it's
spy
great.
movie. It's
Yeah.
just like he
And
has
also-
a fake like Russian name.
How often do you need? Is that still gonna last him 7 years? So when he's
I
6
think
years
5
old,
years.
okay.
That's why I would love to live in a world where my baby pictures could just be my passport photo.
Yeah.
My baby pictures are wild.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a question for Eugene. What was it like being on Brooklyn Nine-Nine? How did that work out? What were people like? Who was awful? Tell us all the dirt. Tell us all the tea.
You can tell us the dirt.
No, that was great. It was super fun. Really cool to just be able to act because you basically go and perform and eat a lot of crap food.
Yeah, half of acting is eating.
Yeah. But yeah, the crew was great. And
Those are so fit.
Andy Samberg and Chelsea were really delightful and very friendly. And yeah, it was good. It was interesting because what they cut into the show was like a tenth of what actually we did because they just improvised half of it. So they just yelled "Daddy" at me for one run for like 3 minutes straight.
Which is some people's wildest dreams.
Oh, I
Yeah,
loved it.
yeah.
I loved it.
Should we
But,
offer that as like a Patreon?
We will call you Daddy.
yeah, no, it was a great first
Our daddy
network
tier.
TV spot. Yeah.
For $1,000, you can join the Daddy tier.
We will call you Daddy for an hour once a day.
Because you're literally our sugar daddy.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah, but thanks for everyone who watched it.
Yeah, it was cool.
I
I watched a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine in general.
Oh, okay.
There's no way I was not going to see it. What kind of French horn does Keith? Are there different kinds of French horns?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like cars. Like there's like a lot of makes and models.
You say that like it's so awesome.
Well,
They're like cars.
just every instrument, like a piano, right? There's a Steinway piano. There are other pianos. There are different makes and models. I had an Atkinson, which is an independent French horn maker, but it's very similar to the Kahn.
So what car would it be?
It's like if your dad like made like a Mustang, like a pretty good car, but he made it himself.
Oh.
So it's an Atkinson horn, but it's basically like a Kahn. I want to say it's like an 8D. It's a double horn. It had the detachable bell, which I regret now. I thought it was very cool in high school, but it's actually just very cumbersome now. It was like a cool thing. Like cool kids had the detachable bell. Super unnecessary, but it did make it so you could wear your backpack, French horn backpack.
The Ferrari of French
Yeah,
horn.
I don't know what the Jaguar.
I think the Kahn. There's the very expensive Kahn model is the bigger French horn maker, and they have very expensive ones. There are triple horns out there. I've never played one though.
Can we circle back to Jaguars?
Is that not what you call it? Jaguar? Is
I'm a fan of the Jaguars.
it's like LaCroix. Okay, hold on. Going down the line. LaCroix or LaCroix?
It is technically pronounced LaCroix. It is. It's from
What
Indiana.
is technically? Well,
And the town is LaCroix.
It's LaCrux.
you're done. That's enough.
LaCroix.
Oh, my son is the only one who says LaCroix. Come on, I know you'll back me up on this.
LaCroix.
Well,
I do the flavors I like to pronounce like as French as possible.
Are you someone that says
Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse? Do you call it tart as well?
I'm not,
Animal.
I'm not pretentious.
Limon.
Animal.
Keith, in the video that's coming out tomorrow, you're wearing a really fun shirt.
Oh, am I wearing that new shirt in that video?
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I have the blah 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 joke commentary shirt, and that's a shirt.
We're not selling it.
I don't know if it's on there yet.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
drop.
fine.
We're gonna drop 3 t-shirts.
Should we make that into a shirt?
Yeah, well,
Or you just have the only one?
I have the only one. We want to drop it, but I have to see if there's intrigue in it. I just got it for myself.
Yeah, maybe it's just you get a special shirt.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna drop them. I
That'd
think
be
we're
cool.
gonna go on the store.
Maybe.
I think we're gonna go on the
store.
I think we like
made
2 years
We
ago.
really have 1,000 in the shed, and we're like, oh god, please, oh somebody burns it. Blah, blah, blah. No, we don't. Okay.
We have a lot of cool, like, the merch is gonna keep getting cooler and cooler. We have so much fun stuff on the horizon.
Yeah,
But
I'm
what
really
do you guys-
impatient for a
what do
lot
you
of
guys
stuff.
want? What should we make?
Yeah, what would you want? Do you want like a planter?
Try Guys candles.
Like-
What?
What?
Who said that?
That's Moby's
That's
been really
crazy.
pushing for, you know those what is it, like the Jesus candles?
Like the Jesus or like Virgin Mary candles, but
Uh-huh.
Try Guys. That's what I've been pitching for months now.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted us to go to Vegas, so. That's,
Those are
okay,
two
fine.
different
That's fine.
things.
That's fine.
Are you
Yeah,
expecting that Las
but-
Vegas is gonna be like, all right,
yeah, yeah,
come on by?
yeah, exactly. But I'm just gonna throw out all the things I've been pitching and
What do
hopefully
you
we'll
wanna-
peer pressure them into saying
What do you
yes.
want to do in Vegas?
I want us to do like a show, like a review.
Oh.
That would do. I want like you know
He
like
wants to do a
Brit-
residency.
like Brittany's
Vegas
residency.
residency.
I also love the fact that artist residencies have been like co-opted by Vegas for people
Oh,
like
yeah.
Britney Spears and Lady Gaga. I think that's hilarious. But yes, I want you guys to do some kind of residency or some kind of performance that I can go to.
Just a residence.
You want
Prefer-
us to perform?
Preferably at a buffet.
Wow. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you just wanted to like.
You thought I just wanted to go to
Party.
Vegas?
Yeah.
No, of course
I just
not.
want to go party.
My first priority is this company.
Being honest.
Who came up with the intro outro tune for the channel?
Ooh, that's
Uh,
a great
I know the
question.
answer. Devlin found it, our editor. He was, Devlin has, was our first editor and was totally, the whole editing staff has been totally instrumental in helping shape the voice and tone of this channel. But Devlin was there with us from the beginning, and he has this extremely insane library of music, just keeps deep diving. And so one day he played it, and I was just like, this is awesome. Eugene designed the intro based on the photo shoot we did, which he also was the lead on. So I had Devlin forward him that song, and then Eugene cut that together.
Devlin's kind of like the mad genius of the, I feel like sometimes he'll be like, oh, I've got an extra 20 minutes. I just finished on this. And he'll go and make something really cool that we're like, oh,
Yeah.
we have to.
The vacation.
He just made a music video without any of us asking
He
for it.
just sent that to us for our enjoyment over Christmas break, over winter break. And he was just
Literally
like, I
just
made
like-
this.
It was about what? The first cut was what, 30, 40
Like
minutes?
45 seconds.
40
Yeah, they
minutes.
were like, this is amazing. Do you think this could be a full song? He's like, yeah, let's see what I can do.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, everyone
like-
thought that was Keith, but it was Devlin.
No, just
Yeah,
Devlin.
yeah.
Any of the weirder things that we do usually have some sort of origin. But actually, I'm happy to say that all of our editing staff's getting real weird.
They're all really
Yeah.
weird. They're all getting really weird.
Like the hot tub that YB cut into
Yeah.
the dumpling video
Yeah.
delighted me
favorite.
so much.
YB's getting super weird.
She's getting
Yeah.
super fucking weird.
I like it. It's great.
Your support keeps us weird and weirder.
Yes.
That's all
Yes,
I'm
Try
gonna
Guys
say.
weird.
Keep the Try Guys weird.
Everybody's weird.
Someone asked for your podcast recommendations. So if you don't already know, where have you been? Well, there's been a podcast, The Tripod, that the guys have been putting out on Patreon. You guys have been really responding to it. It's really cool. It's super funny.
Mhm.
What other podcasts do you listen to, maybe gain inspiration from for like how you might want to structure our podcast?
I think Ned and I are the only ones who listen to podcasts. Right?
Yeah, we listen to a lot of podcasts.
I listened to
What
You do
occasional
listen to podcasts?
episodes.
I thought you'd be a huge podcast.
I love the Fantasy Footballers podcast with Andy, Mike, and Jason. I also listen to their comedy podcast, Good Footballers podcast. But I also like a lot of politics podcasts, like 538 Elections Blog podcasts. I like the Radio Lab stuff.
Ooh.
What else do I like?
Okay, I'm gonna jump in. I'm not gonna let you go.
Get in there. You're just literally jumping in to say, oh no.
The obvious prerequisite is This American Life. You've obviously heard that it's great and it continues to be amazing. It's
Have
so
you
great.
listened to the
fun.
Magic Show's episode?
Which one?
So one episode is called The Magic Show because Ira Glass used to be a kid magician.
Oh, fun.
And he writes about the whole, like, he like talks like this big trick that David Copperfield did in the 80s and how it might have been done. So like spoilers.
Could you
for, like,
imagine
the
Ira
rest of the
Glass
world.
doing magic with that
That'd be
voice?
awesome.
That'd be nuts.
Oh, two more. Two Dope Queens. Love Two Dope Queens.
Do you know Queen?
Always like dial it up on long car trips. They're so funny. And then Intelligence Squared, which is a debate podcast where it's two people debating an issue that is like super relevant.
So my favorite podcast currently is one called Heavyweight. And it's this super weird, socially awkward guy who helps people kind of investigate a problem from their past. So there's this one episode with, I also heard about this from This American Life, but there's this one episode with Rob Corddry where he remembers breaking his arm as a kid and his whole family thinks he's making it up. So he's kind of like part therapist, part private investigator, and he, mostly through phone calls, goes into people's past and tries to solve these problems. It's super funny, super weird, very emotional. So I would highly recommend that podcast.
I feel like we should do something like that. I feel like we should take a random thing from each of y'all's past and like turn it into a whole video where we try to like teach you a skill or resolve like
I have
go
thought we
make
should
friends
like
with your
bring
child.
back our old hobbies and see if we can like get good at them again. You know, like because I used to juggle. Like that was my first performative career ambition. Was like, oh, I'll be a professional juggler. That'll be what I do. So I juggled knives and torches and all sorts of things. I got to where I could kind of juggle 5 balls for like 10 seconds. And I can juggle, but I don't know if I can still juggle like the hard stuff anymore.
I mean, my old hobby was Super Smash Brothers.
So you're getting way better.
You're pretty good at it.
And then he never played video games again.
Well, but Eugene used to play oboe.
Yeah, I was an oboist.
Yeah.
Oh, oboe's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oboist. Oboer.
Yeah, I was a double reed player.
Oboetista?
And then Zach, you played trumpet.
Oboetista, yeah.
Yeah, did you ever play trumpet or anything?
I played piano.
Piano.
Yeah.
Guys, that's
Good
like a
guitar.
weird jazz group.
Do you want to try Guys album?
We could make a weird jazz group
Let's
with this
try that
instrumentation. It would work.
I can still play a few songs on guitar.
That's great. If we could put you on guitar,
You
you
play Smoke on the Water?
I can play the Hanukkah song and I can play Wild Thing, which are both the same chords in different order. That's probably all I remember. They're both 3-chord songs.
I believe I can play The Entertainer
Ooh.
on piano, or at least the beginning of it.
Is that the one that goes da 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 da?
Yeah.
Oh. I forgot everything my piano teacher ever taught me.
I also used to build model rockets.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. See, that's a real one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's a question for you, Dean. So on the past video, we got to see some of the kind of videos and content you've made in the past before the Try Guys, and Eugene had an awesome video about like beauty standards and Korean culture and like the plastic surgery. A lot of people have been asking, would you ever do any of that kind of directorial, really artsy musical stuff again? And if so, when?
Yeah, I hope to one day. It's its own full-time job. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. I can get back to things like directing and writing. But currently it is not in the cards. But in the background, I am working on a lot of things that go into, I guess, my previous work. But it's not something I have time for right now because, you know, Try Guys is 5 full-time jobs. So not mad about it, but that's where I'm at. Yeah, creating something like that film was quite expensive and quite time consuming. So it would be like taking off half a year to work on something. So yeah, it's just not realistic.
And
but-
you're working on a big secret project for our channel that you're going to be directing.
Oh, potentially, yeah. There might be something that plays into a little more of a high concept feel this year at some point on the channel, but that also is a larger project that we'll see if it actually is able to happen. But I will give you a hint that it does relate to Drag Race. So we will see. We will see.
It's an interesting, like, kind of conversation we all have to have with ourselves around that topic of where is our time spent, because there's so many things that we're interested in as a collective, as individuals. And so a part of our continuing challenge is just where do we spend our time, how do we spend our time, and how do we prioritize the projects, because there's no shortage of things that we're excited about and want to do, even just as the Try Guys. So not just, I mean, this group, this company has so many potential projects coming out of it in the next year. And that's something we kind of have to constantly reevaluate is where are we spending our time any given day?
Yeah. The juggling act is sometimes like mind-boggling. Like there was a day that we had 12 different events on the calendar.
That day sucks.
That day was awful
day
for
sucks.
everybody. Nobody had fun that day.
Yeah.
Another question before you
Two
do.
Fridays ago.
Years ago, there's
That was
just
like 2
there were
weeks
like
ago.
Overlapping.
every meeting went 15 minutes into the next meeting.
I was tough. And that was
It
the
was a
day that
crazy
we
calendar.
like left our podcast for a call and came back, and then I left for a call. It was too much.
You know, I guess there's no reason why I can't throw together something like my Generations video or Average Life video for a
Yeah.
channel. There's no rule against that. So maybe in the near future I'll be able to have one video I could do something a little crazier. But yeah, it's not out of the
Really, we want our channel to be a place where each of us can do independent creative things every so often, you know.
Yeah, if you guys would be interested in seeing something that doesn't feature us, but that Eugene is directing, that has, you know, like actors and dancers, then let us know. And we can make it happen.
Let us know, and Zach will play all of them.
Yeah.
We still want it to be.
I'd love to add one thought here is that, you know, I think there's a common thought and a slight misconception that to do what we're doing now, we had to give up, you know, former dreams, or that like, you know, Eugene and I have more scripted background and that we had to give. While that is still something that, not to speak for you, but I know that you have a passion and a desire to get back to, and we all have versions of that. It's also our responsibility to figure out how to take those things that we care about and funnel them into the things that are really successful and really working, and that is this company that we're building. So it's not necessarily like oh no, we've lost that thing from the past. It's no, we're here now and figuring out ways to turn this into all the things that we want to do. So I think that hopefully reflects on the channel. You see us making a lot of different types of content, and you'll continue to see more of it, and that expresses part of the expression of us just wanting to do a lot of different things.
Kind of piggybacking on that, what are either YouTubers or other kinds of creators that you work with? High in the sky, like if you had your pick of anybody.
I first heard of
I'm already mad.
when we talk about Dude Perfect collabs, it really makes me think of
Do
Dude
I talk
Perfect.
about Dude Perfect collabs? Ever?
I
No, they
haven't
actually seem to
returned
kind
my
of
text
wild.
messages.
I got a very funny email today, and it was somebody reaching out to me because they had some famous twins that were going to be in LA, and they wanted to know if I would have them on an episode of Dude Perfect. And then about an hour later, they just wrote back, "Sorry, this email was sent to the wrong address."
Oh wow!
And it was like a PR firm. So I really wanted to just write back, very professional.
So they didn't say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't try it." They just said,
No,
"Sorry."
they said, "Sorry, we sent this to the wrong vendor." So they did not want to have the Try Guys feature these twins. They only wanted Dude Perfect to feature these twins. Somehow they thought that I was a Dude Perfect.
Who else should we collab with? I mean, they're like friends that we have that we want, like still like doing a video with Lauren was just because we wanted to hang out with Lauren for a little bit. I don't know if there's the answer is I don't care. That's not true. It's more like you know, our videos are almost all of our videos are collabs. They just are not with famous people. They're with people that are notable in their field, right?
Shane Dawson.
Sure.
Yeah, you could.
I think most people's inclination is, although I think it's totally valid, is since we're considered like kind of higher echelon YouTubers at this point, is to collab with other super famous YouTubers. Most of the top comments are always like, do the James Charles, do the Shane Dawson. I think simply, or what's his name? Hello.
Ooh, someone's at the door. They can't
Come
get
on.
in. That bottom box.
Someone's here. Hey, what's up, Rob?
What up? Rob's here.
Hi, Rob.
Rob's here.
Oh, okay.
We're in the middle of a live stream.
Yeah.
I think our collab with Mike Chen for the dumpling video
That was fun.
is a good example of someone who's like an expert in the field, but not necessarily seen as someone who's like massively famous to every audience. And I think I'd rather I want to collaborate more with people of color and queer creators and people who could use their platform for more views. So that's my goal. Is I want to collab with people who are not seen yet, and that could be like, use us as an introduction to wider audiences.
And that's really perfect of you.
Honestly, we should just send you to Dallas. I'm like not kidding.
I think
We
that's
need
what
to
he's
send-
angling for.
I know
You
we
should
can
just go
stand
and
outside of their
just
production
knock
company.
on the door and just vlog and be like, I demanded a collab with Dude Perfect. It's a great video.
I just practice a trick shot like over and over and over
Just
again.
throwing it at the front door.
Little trick shot for food.
What if you throw a dart at their doorbell?
Oh, you know what's perfect is if you introduce yourself as the new Dude Perfect guy, but you miss every time. Because you know how they edit everything is like perfect.
Dude, pathetic.
Dude
Pathetic.
What's up, guys?
Pathetic.
We're Dude Pathetic. Well, just me.
You're the guy on the edge. Hey guys, hey.
5 best friends and one guy that
Tries. Neil Fraser asked, would you guys have talked about getting siblings in videos, or maybe would you consider doing that? Has that worked out? How do your siblings and family feel about the possibility of maybe being
Bye,
in this?
Keith.
I'll be right back.
Our battery is
It's
low.
hard.
Keith is slow.
They don't live here, so it's just a logistical nightmare.
But
Your sisters have been in videos.
yeah, a couple cameos.
What was your butt? Let's go.
I mean, they're reticent to be in videos.
Sure.
But yeah, we always thought that if we ever had a sibling video, there's not much to really explore besides the humor and being relatable as a sibling dynamic. Because, motherhood and fatherhood are like really big cultural things, and siblings are more like, how do you fuck with each other, right? So we always thought like a sibling Olympics could be really fun, where it's kind of like Amazing Race, but siblings versus siblings.
It's a lot of talent.
This thing is so much work.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem worth it to me. And like, our siblings are lovely people, but I don't know that they're gonna be the best on camera. You hear that, Stephanie?
Well,
I'm calling you
wow.
out. I don't think you're gonna be good on camera.
this just in. Zach hates all siblings.
My brother's been in some videos, but not as many.
It's not out of the
I
question.
filmed a video with my sister at BuzzFeed called "Siblings Imitate Each Other," and then it never got edited.
Really?
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was my job to edit, and I always had something more important to
It
do.
never got edited.
Yeah.
Late release? A few years late release? Do you still have the footage?
We don't
anymore?
know.
Oh, I do have the footage, but
You have access to that.
we didn't buy it.
It was not part of our blanket deal.
Okay, well, I don't mean that. Maybe, yeah, maybe fine.
Maybe.
I can
Well,
call
it
it.
wasn't
Look at us.
Yeah, it imitates us. This is true.
Yeah, it was our yes, my guy's property.
That was right. Yeah, for sure. You know what? You're gonna see it in a few months.
Are we getting more Keith Eats Everything, Keith Eats the Menu videos?
Yeah, so we are going to do a March sprint of Keith Eats the Menu. We're going to do 4 videos every Monday.
Every Monday.
Every Monday in March.
Madness.
March Madness.
Madness.
And we started filming them. We filmed one last week, and it was difficult. It's interesting because not the best. It's weird because the day after you think I'd be the most miserable the day of and after, and I was actually okay. Not even like Sunday I was pretty okay. But then I didn't poop yesterday, and I didn't poop today, and I'm like, wait, I've still been eating at all the meal times. I don't know.
What's going on?
I don't know. So we'll find out how things go.
It's nuts. It's crazy much.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna get a whole mini season of Eat the Menu coming out in March.
Yeah, it is tougher because I've been so much healthier. My body has forgotten how to process the less healthy food.
Yeah, I think like Trimus last December, we were very interested in doing some of these month-long Monday sprints.
Yeah.
Because it seems like you guys like the 3 video per week, and when we can handle it, we can focus on a particular show. So maybe you'll get, I don't know, in 12 years, a Candid Competition Monday sprint if it doesn't get canceled again.
I don't see what more we can do to
I don't
not
think
get
that'll ever
canceled.
get sprinted. I mean,
You don't think Candid Competition will ever get
it
sprinted?
keeps getting canceled.
Oh, that's
Cancel.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe like, you know.
I don't even know why we're talking I don't even know why we're talking about another episode. It's been canceled.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
I mean,
the network executive Wesley came in and
All right, don't pin this on my child,
He's-
Leslie.
he's our
It's
executive.
He's
the
the big boss.
It's the
We can't
network
do anything
executive.
about
yeah, no, Wes is
Yeah,
our
Wes.
network
Yeah,
executive.
exactly.
I will say with confidence, but not with confidence, that if we do another sprint, Candid Competition is in the running.
It's in the running.
It's in the running. We just saw the pizza episode.
I was actually gonna
It's
go
on
into
Patreon.
They know about it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
coming out
yeah.
tomorrow.
I was gonna come into Discord and we'll do a brainstorm because we have some ideas for more of those, but like it's such a particular unicorn of video type that you're looking for that
We
video.
really want it to fly, you know.
Which no, it can't fly
Yeah.
'cause it's a unicorn.
Yeah, we really want to give it legs.
Like,
You want they want a Pegasus, we want a unicorn.
We wanted to help apply for power.
So be the rainbow that our unicorns.
Also, a little secret about Candid Competition is that it's actually the brainchild of Keith. It's totally Keith's idea, but he said it'll be funnier for you.
Uh-huh.
And then it's edited by Devlin, so it's like this weird 3-way Venn diagram between our bizarre tastes aligning. Not possible with just one of us. It takes a village.
It really was just born out of those first couple weeks in the company when it was just me and Zach, and I was eating the menu, and I'm like, oh, I can't be eating garbage in every video. You gotta eat garbage too.
Somebody else has got to eat some garbage.
And
the rest of
everything-
the company was born.
We needed how do we make a video that we can shoot in one day in one location very exciting and fun?
Yeah, so we made
And that's
this.
where it came from. It's like, okay, we could just get cakes. That was it.
But then the pizza one is obviously thrilling, and a beauty of these videos sometimes is they go so much better than you ever could have imagined them going.
It's great.
Maybe it'll get picked up by a streaming service, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe
So that-
The network.
NBC will decide that they want to throw it into the Thursday Night Comedy Lounge.
and then it's on our way to an Emmy. So fingers crossed. This is a good question. I kind of want you guys to, so do you have any advice for people just exiting college, getting out into the real world, making great choices consistently, or just general life advice for young
Yeah.
adults?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You like the fact that you don't have it all figured out, and I hope you don't have it all figured out. If you do, good for you. Enjoy med school. But for the rest of us that don't have it all figured out, just go make mistakes. Try different jobs. Like the job that you're trying to find or that you're working for won't be the job you have forever. You have life experiences, learn things, try new things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful time to be alive, and there's a lot to figure out, but you don't have to figure it out. We haven't figured it all out. You don't have to figure it out all at once or ever.
I think it's always good to, especially if you're like going from your college town and maybe you're going to move to the city or maybe you're going to move somewhere, to try to find other friends that you can link up with and move together. Especially if you're moving to a new city, it's very scary to move to a new city, and you can do that even with just a kernel of friends to share an apartment together. It means that every day you come home from a difficult day, coming home to people that care about you. So it's like a nice little nest.
Find
It
your
makes you feel good.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I do. You go ahead. I wasn't paying attention.
It's almost a given that you're gonna have at least one shitty job, and the chances are that you're gonna have a shitty job early. So no, as Ned said, that's not your final job, but still do that job really well.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who you're gonna meet there. Even if it's like, it seems like a job that will lead fucking nowhere. You have to put in your full effort because people take notice, and you never know who can help you down the road. So give things your all.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't my experience. I really half-assed it in the chem lab and wrote a lot of comedy sketches. and it turns out that might have been more helpful than
Wait, did you?
real working at the chem lab.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell
The
me.
nice thing about chemistry is experiments take a long time to do. In the morning, I'll come in, I'll set up my experiment, and then I would monitor it, which means that I
Still took
Look
care
at
of that.
well, yeah, but I wasn't like an overachiever.
I'm not saying you should be an overachiever.
You
Do
just
your
said
job
do your
well.
job. No,
I was
an
an
overachiever.
overachiever.
Now scolding.
I was, you know, there's a lot. There's no one right way.
Bye.
Yeah, like if you're a production assistant on a commercial, you do a really good job, right? But like not, you know, sometimes
So if it's
you
like
might
sort
wanna
of
find your
related
passion
to what you
outside
Do a
of
do.
it.
shitty job. If you have a job, just be awful at it. You heard it here first from Nick. Totally
What I'm
fucking
saying
funded.
is
My advice was garbage.
follow
Be
your
shitty.
shot. This is two different.
Be bad.
If
And then you'll get fired, and then you'll find the job that you That's right.
Well, then it was revealed that he wasn't passionate.
yeah, follow your passion.
Yeah. So if it's like mildly related to something you think you want to do as your passion, maybe don't fuck it up.
Well, I mean, if you're in a job that you love, that so
Yeah.
that obviously reflected and then moved to a different field. So I think that's just yourself is this going towards something that I feel passionate about? I mean, I was a waiter for 5 years, but it was
You were?
only because I needed to sustain. I had to survive
Yeah.
doing freelance work. I hated it, but I also did well because I needed to make money. So you know, life throws you lots of different things. You just got to try to keep afloat and remember to keep your eyes on the prize because your 20s is not the end.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of us didn't start achieving like
Compound interest.
things that would be considered success until our late 20s.
Yeah.
You know, so that I think that's like, you know, for some of us almost a decade after college. So it took us 10 years we did lots and lots of jobs before we got to here. So it is not very easy to just get out of school and start crushing it. You really got to hustle and work.
I'd say get a Roth IRA, start maxing it out, save up, get compound interest.
Oh my
Wow.
God. That's advice today. Throw away.
Always listening. A lot of you go to Disneyland and various things. Do you have like Disneyland hacks, favorite rides, favorite foods? What's up? Give me a
Okay.
dish.
Okay, that Disney Max Pass, it costs like $15 or $25, is worth it. You know what? You will be able to sign up for fast passes to any part of the park in any place in the park through your phone, and it also allows you to have like some multiples at once. So if you really want to, like get all the rides in, you really should pay that extra $15. That $15 will go so much further than you would expect it will. I did it last time I went. And it really helped. We crushed it.
What's the beignet quotient on your trips?
How many beignets?
Yeah.
I get at least one bag of beignets. It's a good thing to watch the light show with, you know? It's a hot sack of donuts.
Oh,
Hot sack of dough.
don't do that. This was from Discord, I think. This seems like a nerd question, so I'll ask Zach. What's your favorite Marvel superhero?
Oh,
Or,
shit.
you know what, I'm gonna split it to Marvel
Gene's gonna want
characters.
to jump in on this.
And
Okay, you go first.
You all have opinions, but I'll let Zach take the lead on this.
Favorite Marvel character?
Yeah.
Like pre-MCU or in the MCU? Like in the current Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I'm just thinking of
Marvel Cinematic Universe, because
Okay,
we don't
okay.
have
So the way
we don't
they're
have
portrayed
tracks.
in Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay.
Well, that might be a different answer. It's probably the same answer, actually. I mean, I've always been a Spider-Man guy. Growing up, those were my favorite comics. He's my favorite character. Weirdly, I just relate to the idea of this nerd boy getting superpowers and becoming totally cool. I don't know why I relate to that.
Exchange. A New Yorker even.
It makes no sense to me. But he's always had like the right mix of charm and humor, and his like superpowers are just dope, and I just love that world. I love his villains, and Spider-Man: End of the Spider-Verse is the greatest movie
Oh,
If you haven't seen it,
of
go
all
see it.
time. Full
it's
stop.
amazing.
Should have been nominated for Best Picture.
And you could go watch it
Paddington
again.
2.
Yeah.
I don't know if I consider Paddington 2 a 2018 or a 2017 movie.
Oh.
If it's 2017, then Spider-Man is easily the best movie last year. If they're both in 2018, I'm gonna have to take a long look in the mirror. It's gonna be really hard. Please don't make me choose.
Yeah, I guess.
Who's
I
your
guess that's
favorite,
kinda
Eugene? I
In
feel like
the,
you were. I think I
in the
know.
live action MCU?
Well, just
Yeah.
I feel like you were an X-Men kid growing up, right?
I was such an X-Men
Yeah,
kid.
that was my number
I was a
2.
huge X-Men kid. So it's weird because
Who's your favorite X-Men?
oh god. Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be Storm.
Yeah.
Storm. She was always my favorite.
Storm has never been given the justice
Never.
She's
deserves.
terrifying.
Yeah, and she should have been.
cool.
Yeah, she should have been. I mean,
She's
I
a
love,
literal
Hallie,
goddess.
but she should have been Angela Bassett from the
Yes.
beginning. That was always my opinion.
And there's actually, so I had the original screenplay of X-Men, the first movie for some reason printed. It was like one of the first scripts that I read when I was in middle school. And there's a deleted scene from the beginning of that movie that intros Storm that's totally terrifying and awesome. And it's her on the playground just like fucking shit up.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I would have loved that.
And actually, that script, all these scripts that I had, these screenplays I had from when I was in middle school, just got ruined by the rain. They were in boxes in the garage, very sad. So
No way.
just 3 days ago, I had to throw away that copy of the X-Men script.
Dude, that sucks.
You know
That
who's
makes me really
become
sad.
my
Floor got ruined.
That's more important, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, no one- no one
that
here
actually
knows-
sucks. Mine's like a memento that's been
Yeah.
tucked away in a box. Yours is
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
It's a
in damage.
tripping hazard now.
You know who's like become a secret favorite of mine in the MCU? Just based on improvement is Thor.
Yeah, Thor
Thor
is.
is-
Weirdly enough,
Thor
is
is
great.
so funny.
Thor
so
I had
funny.
such little interest in initially with
Yeah.
the first two Thor
They're so
films,
bland.
and once Ragnarok and
Taika
Infinity
Waititi
War
does
happened,
such a great job.
it was like
Hilarious.
Thor is like
Yeah.
one of the best characters,
Yeah.
and his universe is so interesting.
The first Thor movie was a blast.
The first one's a blast.
I
Once
like
it hits
them all.
Ragnarok, it's like bam.
I think when Ragnarok it starts getting really stupid and funny.
Yeah.
Once it got Taika on it, it was just like perfect.
My best friend growing up, his dad has always been a huge Thor guy. So like I grew up around like just like Thor memorabilia. He was like the
That's so
Thor
specific.
stand from
Oh,
day
wow.
one. Do you guys know that there is in canon there is a frog Thor?
No.
I learned this in a college
Whoa.
humor
Is it
video I
like Spider
did.
Pig?
Wait, I remember this.
alternate
Yes.
Thor gets
Turned into
I
a
think
frog.
cursed by Loki and turned into a frog and is like a frog with the Thor helmet and the Thor armor and a little hammer. Go Google Frog Thor right now, and he like has to go on a
I
journey
will.
and battle rats.
Google frog.
You- Um,
It might be like Thor Throg is his name.
frog.
We only have time for one more
We
question.
we gotta go
Shoot.
soon. Ooh, what is
Frog
it?
Thor.
This is a good question.
Frog.
They're looking up the frog.
Thor Frog.
I'm gonna have to just do it. I
Maybe just a general question.
Yeah, but it is a cuter one.
That's funny. Oh, look at this little guy.
See you with the shoot.
Bye. Wait, did you ever answer your? Oh yeah, you did.
You did. Do you want to just plug stuff? Do you want to ask like what are you most looking forward to and go
Yeah,
from
cool
there?
stuff coming up.
Cool stuff
Let's-
that's coming up.
Yeah, let's all mention a cool thing
Yeah.
we can expect in the next half year.
Ooh, in the next half year.
Hey, I'm always torn here because I don't want to. We don't want to be those annoying people that are like, we have secrets, but also we don't
But we
want to
do have
tell you about
secrets.
things until they're ready. Suffice to say, we're working on a lot of cool different things. Like if you see how like the book is us, but in a new place, in a new medium, we're trying to do more of those.
Bad idea.
I guess we can also say the
More crossover
Yeah,
genre format crossovers in general.
I'm just super amped about the book. I mean, we've been
Yeah.
working on it for a long time, and it's like we're
Still
gonna
not
get
done.
it. We're gonna get it in a manuscript now. That's like it's gonna be finally like an actual book.
Mhm.
That's gonna be so cool.
And we've been having a ton of fun with the podcast, and I feel like every week we're figuring out something new that we like a little bit more. We love that you guys have been our test audience with it and allowing us to continue to play and have fun with it. And that in probably a month or a month and a half's time will be ready to be wide to the public. So we're really excited about that. We're gonna need your help to spread the word wide and far.
And a general thing is like the guys have also been working really hard on general things to make stuff that we put out more accessible to everybody. So we have been listening to feedback about things for people who have hearing limitations. Like we want our merch to be available to people of all different like shapes and sizes. People with vision limitations. So just as a general note, I wanted to put out that I'm reading all those comments and seeing all those notes. I'm
We
working really
appreciate
hard on it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Accessibility is important to us, obviously, and we appreciate you guys giving us feedback on a regular basis.
Yeah, thanks guys. That's good to know.
Yeah, just wanted to like tell them. And also, we love you. I also read so many of your comments. I'm a huge creeper. I send the guys screenshots of like the sweet notes and the personal stories and all the things that you share with us all the time. And we love you guys. You did literally keep this company afloat for a very long time. So thank you.
Yeah, and you're our lifeblood, and we love having you all here to help us, find spelling errors in videos like cumstomization.
That was huge.
We got a lot of same cumstomization out to the internet, so we appreciate that, QC.
Oh, I thought that was purposeful.
I don't. If it was purposeful, it was a wrong.
You noticed
purposeful.
it and you let it slide.
I just thought it was a Zach Keith thing.
No.
It's such a funny typo. It's also I've laughed. I've read customization every time because it's so funny in the edit where it's just this dumb little text. I must have read it
This is not
a dozen
question.
times.
Also, you know what? You guys should be excited because the next few months have some really weird videos.
There's some great videos
There's
coming
some
out.
great-
There's some really weird
weird ones.
and really classic good ones.
We're gonna look back and say it was pre and post I'm on vacation, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm on vacation, bitch is ushering us into a new era. of weird.
ABC sort of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to go. We're actually gonna go film another video right now. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the live stream. This is gonna stay up for people who couldn't make it live to watch, and keep submitting questions, and expect another one of these very soon. Bye everybody.
Mom and Dad, Mickey, always giving Nicholas.